that, I think the other team has to go, okay, wait a minute, what do we have to do here to try and slow this dude down? Which they did at halftime. He didn't do much in the second half, but that's where your other guys come in. Steph got going, and so Jimmy had a quiet game, but this was the kind of game the Warriors needed, man. They needed this game because, again, 0-3 against these guys this season, and Steph's great performance has been going to waste. Tonight, great performance. You get rewarded.
So the Warriors have lost the last 3 games against the Lakers this season. This is the last game of the road trip as well. And this was a Steph Curry and Brandon Pajemski versus LeBron James and Austin Reeves on the other end. That was an incredible matchup. This was a playoff atmosphere. Like, both teams kept throwing slugs after slugs. The three-point shot was going early for Brandon Pajemski. He had 22 points in the first half for Brandon Pajemski. Really supporting cast. Jonathan Kuminga was huge. It's a big game back for him. It's good to see him back in the lineup. His athleticism brought a different dimension. Jimmy Butler struggled from the field, but having Jonathan Kuminga there really was great to support Steph on a big shooting night for Steph. Steph was phenomenal tonight.
No doubt about that. The starting lineup improves to 13-0 on the season because you can't sleep on Moses Moody, who came out in attack mode. And I think the experience, Monty, of these youngsters, the bright lights of Crypto.com Arena against the LA Lakers, against Memphis, who's a playoff team as well in the Western Conference. Pods, Kuminga, Guy Santos hustling around, grabbing deflections and offensive rebounds. Moses Moody trying to dunk on Austin Reeves' head. Should have been a dunk, but they called it a charge, whatever. The youngsters gaining valuable experience down the stretch heading to the playoffs. I think that was very important as the OGs brought it home down the stretch in the fourth.
They've been playing playoff games now for almost a month, and so they know that, they look at that, and the kids have been kind of coming along. And you watch Brandon these last 3 games. I mean, against New Orleans, he goes off 27 points, plays an all-around game. Next night, doesn't do much, but then tip in late, huge tip in, and then tonight. So, and Moses, making shots. So, but Jonathan Kuminga tonight, though.
Wow.
I mean, J.K., offensively tonight, J.K. was really, really good, and then he had 9 boards, too. You want that.
That's exactly what you want to see. This is a full team effort tonight. Draymond Green, great strip there at the end of the game on Luka Doncic. That was probably one of the biggest plays of the game. But I thought the Warriors did a great job. Just a well-balanced offense attack right now. You got Steph Curry on one end, really coming downhill off of ball screens. Obviously his shot is incredible. So they're double-teaming him. And the Warriors, the off guards, the others on the team, Brandon Pajemski, Moses Moody, Guy Santos, everybody was pouring in. I thought Brandon Pajemski did a great job setting the tone early. But you can't say enough about the Warriors' effort tonight. They shot 31 free throws. That's all up and down the board. And they out-rebounded the bigger Lakers. All these little things that Steve Kerr has been preaching all year long, the little details of the game, they really took care of it tonight.
26 made free throws out of 31 attempts. That was huge for the Golden State Warriors. How about second chance points? In the first quarter, the Lakers grabbed 10 offensive rebounds, right? They outscored the Warriors 10-1 on second chance points. 8-1. 8 offensive rebounds. It was 8-1. And then the Warriors flipped that in the second quarter, 7-1. And then from that point on, they outscored the Lakers in second chance points 23-5. That helped flip the game as well after that first 4-minute mark where the Lakers were rolling. But let's pick up the first half tape because the defense is flying around. Remember, the Lakers scored 17 points in the first 4 minutes and 10 seconds. They were getting any shot they want. They were crashing the glass. And then the defense stepped up. Yes, Fezzi, I'm saying defense here. At one point during the first half, they held the Lakers at 2 of 18 from the floor and just 7 points. Heck, in the first quarter, the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds, the Lakers scored a grand total of 5. So everybody was paying attention to detail on the string defensively. The rotations are great, and that's what led to great offense later on in the first half.
Well, Bonte, the Lakers had won the previous games, and that was an unfocused Warriors team. Right now, this is the Warriors getting ready for the playoffs, and you got to take every possession lightly. You can't take any possession lightly. I thought the end of the first quarter set the great tone for the rest of the game defensively. The Warriors did a great job locking into Luka, making sure you had LeBron James. You could switch out. You got, Jonathan Kuminga. You got Jimmy Butler doing a great job on LeBron, and guys just switching out. You have a bunch of different guys that can guard Luka Doncic as well. He struggled from the field tonight. I thought it was because of the Warriors' defense.
What I hear you saying is that defense matters. Is that what I hear you saying?
I feel like I've been saying that all year long. But now the playoffs are coming along, and I think this is exactly why you're excited for the Warriors, because obviously offense is important. You need to score the basketball.
Sure.
But for you to go far and deep into the playoffs, you need your defense to be able to carry you on nights like this, where at the end of the first quarter, you were struggling a little bit, second quarter, struggling offensively. You need your defense to be able to take over.
Warriors have been a top 10 defense all year. Since Jimmy came aboard, #1. And that's what can make a difference right now. I mean, the Lakers team that you saw tonight didn't see this defense in the first 3 games. They saw it tonight, and at one point between late first quarter early second quarter. They went 10 minutes. They had one field goal, almost 10 minutes. That's defense. And then when you can do that to a team, it takes a little something out of them. I won't say Luka wasn't the same player. He wasn't the same player tonight that you usually see.
Yeah, he's always complaining. That's why. I mean, he's complaining about everything anyway. But offensively, though, I'm going to pick it up from my man Chris Mullin. The offense stepped up. They scored 123 points tonight. They made 19 threes, fellas. Come on, don't slip on the offense. And since Jimmy's come aboard, this offense has crept up the ranks. Remember, they're middle of the pack as we take a look at our River Rock Daily jackpot. And it's Brendan Pajitsky. Give him his love. Give him his flowers, folks, because his 19 games since returning from that right abdominal strain. Of course, he missed 5 games with the back strain, but he ends the first half with that buzzer beater at the half. They give the Warriors a commanding lead, a double-digit lead at the break. He scores 22 points in that first half. How many threes he makes, Monty? 6. Career high for him, man. What a half for him. What a game for Pods.
You think about that, and when Brandon can score like that, like I said, guess what teams do defensively? They got to figure out, okay, I mean, you don't want to take your defense focus away from Steph because he's Steph. But at some point, you got to pay attention to him a little bit. And like I said, at halftime, they made a little bit of adjustment, and Brandon was a little quiet in the second half, but then Steph took over.
I don't care. Brandon Pajitsky was 8 for 10 from the three-point line tonight. I will take that every night from BP. I mean, being a role player on the Warriors team is really about working with the gravity of Steph Curry. He's going to get double-teamed. He's going to get triple-teamed at times. And you knew that the Lakers' defense was going to be very physical with Steph. I thought BP did a great job not thinking. Every time he got the ball, he was aggressive getting to the hill, getting downhill, getting into the paint. The Warriors that scored the Lakers, it was only 36-34, but it showed up in the free throw line. They shot 31 free throws to the Lakers 23. That is a huge stat for the Warriors because everybody was aggressive, but I thought BP did a great job setting the tone.
In that game last weekend in New Orleans, I said Brandon scored the ball. Everybody looked at his scoring, but look at his I thought, he did really smart things in that game. He passed when he was supposed to pass the ball. He didn't pound the dribble too much. He played an all-around game, and at the time looking at this, if he's going to do this, he don't have to score 20-plus points. If he can do the other stuff that he did in that game, just bottle that and take it with him, the Warriors have a chance to make a long run in the postseason.
8 rebounds, 6 assists tonight since he's been back in those last 19 games, shooting nearly 40% from the three-point line. But as you mentioned, Monty, the all-around game, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He's doing a little bit of everything for the Golden State Warriors. But again, this game came down the stretch, came down to the crunch time. Of course, as the Warriors, they had a double-digit lead going into the fourth quarter. And again, the Warriors are now 40-4 when leading after 3 quarters of play, 20-3. On the road when leading after 3 quarters of play in non-Steph minutes. That was a big shot by Jimmy Butler, who had a pretty quiet game by his standards here, but big shots with Stephen Curry off the bench to give him an extended rest, Monty, and build that lead back up.
You mentioned Jimmy had a pretty quiet game, which he did, but at one point, what did he do when you have to do? He got to the line. He slowed the game down, got to the line, made a couple of free throws late in the game. And then, of course, defense, he makes a big play defensively. So, really like Fezzi said, this was an all-around team performance. Jimmy didn't score a lot. Brandon took care of that. He and Steph kind of carried in. But again, J.K., coming off the bench with what he did, J.K. is right up there with those 2 guys for player of the game.
Fezzi, think about this real quick. Monty was talking about this during the pregame show, the non-Steph minutes, playing the Lakers without Jimmy. Obviously he wasn't here when they played the Lakers 3 previous times. Those minutes went awry. The Lakers will build leads and build leads, insurmountable leads. Now without Steph on the court, you get Jimmy, you get Dre, you get J.K. out there, and able to stabilize the game really in that fourth quarter.
A big stat line tonight was 26-7 bench points. Jonathan Kuminga was huge. Coming off the bench, the Warriors missed him because the past couple of games without Jonathan Kuminga, the Warriors actually lost the bench point battle, which they're the 2nd highest scoring bench in the NBA. That is going to be really key to the 27th scoring bench in the Lakers. That's going to be really key when you have in these matchups, but that's going to be super key when you go into the playoffs. So I thought J.K. did a great job tonight. I thought he was aggressive. Where Jimmy Butler was struggling, he picked it up, but I thought Jimmy Butler's gravity is always going to be there. There was a pump fake in the first half where LeBron jumps because Jimmy Butler is still going to make these shots at the end of the game. Doesn't matter. He's a superstar, a guy who wants to win, who's just a proven winner in the league.
All right, the crunch time tape because the Lakers, as you guys mentioned, kept hitting 3 after 3. LeBron got crazy high. He went 5 of 8 from the 3-point line. I'll blame Monty for that.
Fault. I blame you,
We'll
Monty.
explain later.
You said he wasn't shooting the ball well. I said, leave him alone, Monty.
Risky pass by Pods, but J.K. goes up like he's ready, boss. Gathers it, lays it up for a score. Did J.K. get against Officer Reeves? This is what he can do right there. He has that down to a T, Fezzi.
Yeah, JK was phenomenal tonight. He does bring a different element to the Warriors offense. An ability to play above the rim is really key. Great screen right there by Draymond Green, understanding that they're daring Draymond to shoot. So he's always going to have that ability to set that down screen for Steph to get him open. Pods, I mean, what can you say about Pods tonight?
That was back-to-back threes from Curry and Pods, as also Reeves kept shooting the ball. He made 6 threes.
Huge steal right here.
That play right there is why Draymond Green has been campaigning for the DPOI. And when you do this on national television, and Reggie Miller and Kevin Harlan and the whole world is watching, you're thinking to yourself, man, he may have sold that to Ward up tonight down in L.A.
I believe I heard Reggie say, give him the trophy.
Give him the trophy already?
So,
we just started talking about this 2 weeks ago.
That was very Andre Iguodala-esque.
Yeah,
you know, the ability to really pay attention. He was help side. Jimmy Butler did a great job of funneling Luka Doncic tonight, getting to the rim, get him off the three-point line, because that was really important in that possession. Draymond Green just paying attention, watching. Both of those guys together, both Jimmy and Draymond Green, they cause a lot of havoc. On the defensive end, we could talk about the defense all we want, but the fact that Jimmy can be the guy who's the safety, Draymond can be out there, you know, they play so well together defensively that all the other guys on the Warriors team are inspired to really give a second, third, fourth efforts out there on the defensive end.
When you watch Jimmy and Draymond play defense, I'm going to put this in a Jazz frame of mind, because you see a great jazz band, you see a great saxophonist over here, you got a great trumpeter over here, you got Miles, you got Train over there. You're watching Draymond and Jimmy, those two guys work together so well. It's like they read each other's mind. And I think they both have great IQs, but they also understand what point of the game.